Hi, this is Wayne Rivers at the Family Business Institute. As always, thanks for tuning in, and let us have your comments. Let us know what you're thinking about this, and if you have any suggestions for improvement. Somebody actually commented that I should dress better in the blogs. Well, what you see is what you get. So that's probably not going to happen, but we do welcome your suggestions. All right, so I get notifications every day. Anything with the term family business in it from publications around the world. I subscribe to a Google service and I get these articles. So I read this stuff so you don't have to. So I can bring you the latest and greatest information about family businesses. So this came from the Montreal Gazette. And there's an expert who's being interviewed for the story, and he talks about the 7 major steps of family business succession. And I'm going to give you the quick 7 steps, and I want you to think about it as you hear these. Number 1, the initial reflection period. Okay. Number 2, evaluation of ownership alternatives. Pay attention to that word ownership. Number 3, grooming the next generation of owners. Think about that word owners. Number 4, determining a selling price or valuation for the business. Number 5, tax and estate planning. Number 6, obtaining financing. And number 7, assuring a steady income flow to the senior generation via financial planning. You know, I see these stories about family businesses, and they interview these experts, and almost inevitably my head explodes. I feel sick to my stomach because, I mean, think about that. First of all, the focus is on ownership of the family business, and ownership only. Twice in the 7 bullet points, ownership is mentioned. The final bullet point, assure steady income flow to the senior generation. Now, if you think about it, who do family business advisors work for? Who do the bankers and the lawyers and the CPAs work for, the financial planners? They work for the senior generation. In fact, if you're a CPA or an attorney, they can only work for the senior generation. They can't have more than one client. They can say, I'm working for the business, but who are they really working for? And there again, the focus is entirely on ownership succession. Well, let me ask you a question. Who gives a rip what the future ownership of the company looks like if somebody hasn't addressed the management succession of the company? Who's going to run the business? Who's going to do the thankless, countless tasks that it takes to keep a family business operating profitably? In these 7 steps, or there's a mention of grooming the next generation of owners, not managers, owners. Who is going to run this business? If the business isn't run profitably after the senior generation departs, guess what? Their financial security is a goner. The business is a goner. There's no jobs, there's no employment, there's no satisfied customers. It just makes me sick that most family business advisors, and when I say most, I mean 98.7% or something like that, they focus on the needs of the senior departing generation, and they don't focus on the needs of the successors, whether it's family or non-family successors. They don't do any forecasting. They don't do any financial modeling to see, you know what, the business did $10 million of revenue last year, and can we see a clear strategic way for the business to keep producing revenue and profits, or is the business likely to fall off when the senior generation departs because they have all the business contacts and do all the selling? Nobody looks at that stuff, and it just drives us berserk. So look, it's a 2-part equation. Number 1, you've got to satisfy the needs of the departing senior generation. They deserve it. They deserve to ride off into the sunset and enjoy their golden years, no doubt about it. But somebody's got to look after the successors as well. If you don't balance the successor side of the equation, the senior generation doesn't have the very security that they're looking for. And surely the junior generation doesn't. So when you're thinking about succession and you see these articles in magazines or the newspapers, always pay attention. Are they talking about ownership succession or management succession? Because if you don't talk about both, you're not getting it done. And do they talk about the needs of the senior generation and the successor generation? Because there again, if you're not talking about both, you're not getting the job done. Thanks for listening to me rant. This is Wayne Rivers at the Family Business Institute. Love to have your comments below. Thank you.